Hi everyone, so I wanted to show my farm stand. We started doing this probably 3 months ago. I am super behind between the farm stand, the daycare, and just summer fun with my family on videoing and editing. So this is how we made my farm stand, kind of just how Alec was like, go for it, do it, let's do it, I'll make you a farm stand, I think it'd be great. Really encouraged me to follow this dream, and then just how we did it. I am so excited. Alec is building my farm stand. I haven't told anybody really about this, but I am going to do a little farm stand. I'm going to sell my sourdough bread out of it and a lot of my baked goods and some of the extra eggs I have and some friends' barbecue sauce, like just kind of some rhubarb stuff out of the garden. It's coming to life right now and I am so excited. I feel like I'm a kid and it's Christmas morning. I know that's like a cheesy thing, but Alex out there working on it. I'm also nervous. I feel like bulk baking is a lot different than baking a couple of loaves here and there, but it's gonna be great. I'm gonna set up in front of a friend of ours. She owns a shop on Main Street. So I'm gonna set up starting now on first Fridays and third Thursdays. So our town does something called a wine walk on third Thursdays. So you pay like $10 for a cup and you get to walk downtown and like stop at all the shops and get a drink, and I'll be selling my bread. I'm excited.
What are you doing, Millard? Cover your ears. Got them covered?
All right, so Alec went to our local lumber shop and bought a bunch of wood, and we sat down, sketched out what we wanted this to look like, how big it needed to be to fit all of my bread. And then he just brought the drawing to life. It was quite amazing actually to watch him get creative and do that. Millie helped me build my bread rack. So this is my cooling station, but also where I store the bread once it's cooled and bagged prior to selling, or if I'm selling here at the house. All right, today we're gonna paint the farm stand. Millie, what are we doing today? We're painting the farm stand. Alex just got it moved out. We're gonna put wheels on it and get it painted. My first one is June 20th. You're gonna paint that side painting? Yeah, what are we painting though? Are you driving? Good job getting up there by yourself. All right, farm stand is built. We're gonna get it painted. It rained, so we didn't paint. I'm gonna get a curtain rod across there, curtains, and then a shelf in there for my bread, cookies, eggs, vegetables, all the good stuff. All right, so now we bought some wallpaper and we put it back in there in the back. That was kind of a pain in the butt. If you look closely, it doesn't actually line up. Got it all painted and finished off there, ordered my signage, got the curtains, and then it was just really getting a practice of the bulk baking. Here's some of the things I put in my first stand, some of the trial and error, just experimental baking. I'm thinking I might make a video on that just because yes, it is raw and it's terrible and sad to see how I started versus how I am now, but it's also inspiring to know that it was an actual shit show when I first started, but now I feel confident and comfortable in my bulk baking and my stands, all while being, a daycare provider and a mom and a wife and myself all in that same category. One thing that has surprised me the most and brought me to tears a couple of times is how supportive our community has been. I have sold out every event I have done. I have people reaching out to me complimenting all of my things. But it's really the shock that they like my baked goods as much as they liked the sourdough stuff. So it's been fun to add those into it. Okay, so I was just putting the finishing touches to this video about my farm stand, sourdough, and just kind of update on how all of that was going. in the time from that video editing to now, I wanted to touch base a little bit on the fires that we have been having. So I'm not sure if everyone's familiar. We live in Oregon, and so we are surrounded, or were surrounded, by both the Durkee, Huntington fire and Halfway fires.
All the fires.
And I mean, it was just little sporadic fires all around us as well, but those are the two large known fires. So Durkee got bad enough that it had, it became a state of emergency for us, and they had resources from all around the world. We had fire camps set up everywhere. The schools were set up for feeding firefighters. My husband works for the garbage company, and so he drives a garbage truck for the rural routes, and he would get down with that, and then he would go help his crew go pump the toilets for all the fire camps. It was very, very smoky and very hot. It was like 100 degrees for, I want to say, 2 weeks, and the low at night was like 80. It was very, very hot. Don't quote me on those. I could be a little dramatic on the low, but it was so hot that, and even if it was cool, you couldn't have your windows open because of the smoke. I couldn't have my daycare kids outside. I personally couldn't be outside. My asthma was so bad with the smoke. It was terrible. So all that happened, and then the Durkee fire was so big that it started creating its own weather. We had a huge storm warning come in Wednesday morning stating pretty much be ready for power outage and high winds, rain, crazy weather, right? Because again, the fire was large enough to create its own weather. So we all did some storm prep, and then Alex at work, I've got daycare kids here, just a few of them left because some parents, half of them came, picked their kids up and went home to do storm prep. I mean, we were told this was going to be a really big storm. So the storm hits, I want to say around like 3. I still have some daycare kids. No, it was earlier than that because it was nap time, and we instantly lose power. The rain is hitting the house so hard, it's so loud. The wind is going crazy. We have a tree out front, a huge tree, big branches and limbs coming out of that, whacking into our window and the pickup and the yard and the house, and did extreme damage to our main building's roof. And then our outbuilding, which is where I do all the sourdough and everything, we had literal sheets of metal blowing off of that. And then it was raining hard, like I said, so it leaked, of course, in that building. The ceiling got water damage, and it leaked in there, creating water damage on the floor. So I have not been doing the farm stand for probably 3 weeks. But to sit here and say like, oh, okay, I lost a couple weeks of business and my hobby got squashed on a little bit, that's amazing. There's some close friends and ranchers of ours that lost a lot of things. A lot of head of cattle, a lot of private personal property, homes. The truth of it is we lost a firefighter to this fire in Durkee, and that's someone's life, that's someone's dad, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's husband. So we made it off very, very easy. So much burned, it is just devastating. My last video I posted where we were up McBride with Nana and Poppy, my folks, that place burnt from the Halfway fire. Right now the Durkee fire is at 99% contained, and the Halfway or Town Gulch fire is at 89% contained. So it is amazing, but it's way more under control. Like at the time of the storm, it was 0% contained and growing. It was terrifying. There was helicopters flying over us all day long. Chaos, panic. Our home hit a level 1 evacuation. Town was like red flag warning for a long time, which means like be aware of what's going on. At one point there was literal ash on our pickups in the house from the fire and the wind. Ash on the pickup. It was just a lot. Very overwhelming, scary time. But I wanted to give some little pinpoint updates on those fires just because we're so close to it. And not everybody really knew what was going on, but I was absolutely amazed by our community, by the volunteer firefighters. People really stepped it up. They all came together. People volunteered water and snacks and dinners and places for people to be and sleep. Just amazing. Our town was full of strangers, and you would not know they were strangers. It was pretty cool to see.